Hello flute students. Today we're going to start with our usual warm-up, our 5 notes starting on F and going down to B flat, and then we're going to go back up again. And we're going to go up and down a few times so you get used to playing this. This is called a scale when you go up and down by steps. So it'll sound like this. Then you go up again. Notice how I'm keeping my fingers very, very close to the keys. In fact, you can keep them touching the top of the keys, but just not pressing down when they don't need to. This time, just watch my fingers. So pause the video here and just practice going up and down those notes. Some changes are easier than others. You'll notice that obviously the change from E to D is easy because that's just pinky up, pinky down. Some of the changes are harder, like from D to C, so you can go over that a bit. But get so you can go up and down that scale, because that's going to make our new song much easier if you can do that scale first. So pause the video here and go up and down your notes. So the song we're going to learn today is Lightly Row, number 25, at the bottom of page 7. We're skipping over actually one of the harder songs because Lightly Row is a bit easier than that. It's 2 lines long, so it's quite long, but a lot of the parts repeat. So you'll see that repeats. Okay, and we're going to learn it in sections. But first, I'm going to play the whole song through for you. So please follow the notes as I'm playing. So look at the beginning of 25, and I'll play the whole thing through. Second line. Could you tell that parts of the song came back again? All right, we're going to learn this in chunks of 2 or 4 bars, okay? The first chunk we're going to look at is just the first 2 bars, okay? So look at the notes for the first 2 bars. You'll see that it's F, D, D, E, C, C, and it sounds like this. So pause the video there and just play those first 2 bars until you think you've got it. The next 2 bars are like going up our scale. See how the notes go B, C, D, E, F, 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 okay? So it's like when we're going up this scale, all right? So just listen to those next 2 bars, bar 3 and 4. So pause the video here and just play those 2 bars. Okay, now the next 2 bars, which are bar 5 and 6 of the first 2 lines, can you see that those are the exact same notes as the first 2 bars? I'll play it for you and you'll hear that it's the same. So those 2 bars we've already learned, but then the last 2 bars of the first line, this is the tricky bit because it skips around a bit. So say the notes with me. Last 2 bars of the first line, they go B, D, F, F, B. And that last B is a 4-beat note called a whole note. So the last 2 bars sound like this. So you can see it's all the notes on the lines, and make sure you hold out that last note for 4 beats. So pause the video here and just practice those 2 bars. And then if you want to at this point, you can go back and try and play the whole first line together. And if you have any difficulty with any of those bits, you can just practice a bar or 2, just go over and over the tough part. We're going to go on to the second line now, if you feel like you've got the first line. The second line has lots of repeated notes. So you'll notice there's lots of C's at the beginning here. There's 5 C's in a row. But we actually don't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because there's 4 beats in a bar. So we think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Because we get to the first beat of the second bar with our C's, and then we change to the next note on beat 2 of the second bar. I'm going to play just those first 2 bars of the second line for you so you can listen. So you can pause the video here and just play those first 2 bars of the second line. Now I'm going to play the next 2 bars, bar 3 and 4 of the second line, and you'll notice it's the same pattern. This has 4 D's and then it goes up to E and F. So again, when we're counting our D's, we think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then we change notes on the second beat of the next bar. So these 2 bars sound like this. So pause the video here and just play those 2 bars. Okay, I have some good news for you, because if you've made it this far, the last 4 bars of the second line are exactly like the last 4 bars of the first line, just above it. Can you see that these 4 bars and these 4 bars are exactly the same? So you've already learned those 4 bars. I'll play them for you and you'll hear how it sounds the same as the end of the first line. So you might like to go over just those last 4 bars again, because especially that second to last bar is very tricky. That's the hardest part. So now you can go back and play the whole song, or you can just keep learning it in sections, learning it 2 or 4 bars at a time. If you start playing it all the way through and you have troubles, just stop and go over 1 or 2 bars at a time, and then eventually you can go back and play the whole song. So well done, and we'll see you next week.